I think it was the dean of UCLA told students, like, have a relaxing summer. You don't need to do anything else. I think that presumes that preparing ahead doesn't help you. Now, if you go into a lot of the wonderful places on the web like Reddit and top law schools, top law schools is generally a good resource, but the forums are kind of Reddit-ish. You will see a lot of people who hang out there and they're full of negativity, and they'll just say preparing ahead doesn't help you. I did fine. But it's amazing how many people will say this. A lot of law students will say that. A lot of law school administrators will say that. They don't quite have the longitudinal perspective that I do, and I can't claim to have done like regression analysis. But in my experience, what I have seen over time, that my absolute best students were ones who started early, even as early as the spring or summer. Even the middle of the summer was fine, but before they got to law school. I totally think that this conventional wisdom is wrong, that preparing ahead does help you. I'm not talking about like just but like straight A students. This really doesn't happen. Even I wasn't a straight A student. I was close some semesters, but people who just had amazing grades. And you have to think about the psychology of people who say preparing ahead doesn't help you. I think law school administrators are sincere and want to believe this, but I think they haven't internalized how broken legal education is. They want to make it a nice, friendly, not super stressful place. At least a lot of the fancy law schools like UCLA want to. But I don't know if that's the reality. A lot of law students will say that. Maybe incoming law students don't want other people preparing ahead. Or some people might want to rationalize that there wasn't anything they could have done before law school. I almost was one of these people who didn't prepare ahead of law school. I went home. I grew up in Reno, and I was about to head off on like a 3-week vacation with friends before I started law school. And a friend pulled me over. He forced me to go to drinks with him. And I said, and he'd gone to Harvard Law School, and I was headed off to NYU. And he said, "You really need to come with me." And I said, I'm fine." He's like, "No, you don't know what you're talking about. You come with me. You have some drinks, and I'll tell you how to kind of do well in law school." He is now a law professor himself. And some of these principles I learned kind of tutoring, but the thing that he told me was, it's not true. I mean, the thing that he saved me from was kind of, I could have easily fallen into the trap of just doing what everyone else did. I'm a more passive person than I want to be. I just want to get along. And so I think I would have thought I was doing the right thing by reading cases frantically. But it took a friend, and I can't even remember if he paid for the drinks or I did, but he made me come with him. And he said, "You have to prepare in advance." And the number one thing he said to do was pre-study. Number two, if this dates me a bit, he told me to go to a file cabinet in the law library when I arrived and to look at the final exams. So the core things that he gave me was to pre-prepare, to kind of pre-study the law, to understand the black letter law before reading, because the casebook was just going to be confusing. A casebook is not a textbook. And the intuition that I had to understand the end game before I even started this semester, to actually see what a final exam looked like for a given class, and to kind of internalize what it would mean, to view everything through that lens.
Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I wish you all the best and take care.